What's up, guys? Comes Hard here. I wanted to make this video because I had a pretty nice VOD here yesterday on a fight where some of the Awakener skills are shown a bit more properly, and I figured I'd share that since there's plenty of people that have not been in here at all and might not know what they're getting into. I'm not saying I'm an expert at this, but I've done it a couple of times now, and I've also failed a couple of times, of course. That happens. Anyway, let's just get into this. I'm going to go ahead and have a paint open on the side here. There we go. And I'll be explaining briefly what the skill looks like when it's on the ground, because obviously it's kind of hard to see on screen here. And yeah, and how to avoid the damage potentially. So let's just get into this. So we enter the arena. There's gonna be two vortexes on each side. These are both stationary. They don't move. For some reason, during my fight, this one ended up moving. So I'm not sure why that happened, because all the attempts before and after, I have had these two in place. These two for me have always been stationary. In this fight, you will soon see that this one on the bottom side here is actually not stationary, and that almost made me lose the fight, because if this closes, you won't be able to get back into the fight again, because you get a stacking debuff here, which both slows and does damage over time. I'm relatively sure this is physical damage over time, as I'm not getting any ailment on me, no chill, and I don't have flasks up. I'm playing on a Pathfinder, so I do have ailment immunity. Of course, even if it's a cold dot, then it doesn't necessarily chill, but I'm quite sure it's physical, but I'm not sure on that. So the moment you enter the fight, he's going to be sitting on his chair, and there's already going to be these geysers on the map. So you want to try to avoid that. They don't do serious damage. They do some damage, as you can see. It hits me. I don't have any defensive layers other than a balanced Wise Oak, so any damage you see here is just the raw damage that he's putting out. So to proc the fight, you have to walk directly under him, and you will hear that by him starting to talk. So every time he's coming out of a phase, every time you want to get him into a phase and make him targetable, walk under him until you hear him starting to talk. There you go, you see? So I walked under him, and he starts doing his laugh, and he's going to do that all the time. Every time he's going into a phase and you want to get him out of it, you have to walk directly under him, and he will go out of his phase again after a little while, because he has these dialogues going on.
What's this? A real challenge. You've finally caught my attention.
So that right there is his auto attack. It's a beam. Doesn't do extreme crazy damage again. Okay, so this is the first thing that's going to happen after phasing him for 25% of his health. He's going to go into this invulnerability state where you cannot damage him anymore. And it will start pulsing shockwaves out of the center here. Now, it does that for a very good reason, because this guy is about to create a new vortex under him. Now, this one is not stationary. So what you can do with this vortex is, if you stand close to it, it will chase you. You'll see that on the ground. If you look very closely on the ground, you will actually see that I'm moving this one. I'm trying to get it away from him, because he's going to be in the center, and to be able to phase him, to be able to phase the boss, you have to walk under him, but you cannot walk under him, obviously, when there's a vortex that's directly under him or on top of him. So you want to move it away, and he will still do his abilities that I'm going to go and show you in a little bit on the second phase because it's a bit more clear. And in this case, I'm just looking to lure the vortex away so that I can pass through behind it and walk under him to then proc his next phase. However, like I said earlier, for some reason this one screwed up, and even though I entered from here, and earlier there was one vortex up here and one down there, which I walked past, this now is one vortex. This one ended up moving upwards. I'm not sure why it did that. It's not supposed to. It hasn't done that in all my fights apart from this one, which is why I'm starting to like slow. I'm panicking a little bit here because I have no idea what's going on here. Because usually I would pass through here, but it's locked. And the other one is about to crush me. The one that I'm trying to lure. So there you can see I'm kind of screwed up. And this is why I'm about to mention in this video, like, I need to change this. Because if I die now, I won't be able to get back into the fight because the entire entrance is blocked off. Now the damage I'm taking here is already serious damage and it could be fatal in most cases. This is why I would suggest having some sort of instant blink movement skill to be able to pass through situations like this, because you're about to see that even though I whirling blade through this, I still take a lot of damage from it.
Did I already fuck up?
So I just moved through there with Wicked Ward up. I made sure that I walked out a little bit here to get my recovery going, and it's still almost killed me. So this is another attack of his, which he's gonna do if while he is not while he's phased. My bad. While he's invulnerable, he's gonna do these two beams that are going into each other. For some reason, I only see. Oh yeah, that other one is there. It's probably from what it looks like, it's a half circle of a beam on each side, much like Kurgle. However, it's a ground hit. So as you can see, I walked through it on the because this is in the air and it only does the damage on the floor. After that, he makes a big AoE explosion where it ends. So instead of where Kurgle, for example, does his two arms from the side and then focuses forward and then beams forward, this guy does the he basically makes the half circle and then he makes a big explosion on the floor. Please dodge this. It's gonna do damage. It hasn't killed me. I haven't been one shot by it, but it gets me. It hits me hard. So there's that. Now I walk under him and then he starts talking again. In some cases, what would happen is that there would be a vortex right here, and you would phase him. If you do that, phase him and walk away. Because if you stand there, the vortex might eat you. If you stand far away, the vortex will be stationary. The vortex will not move unless you're close to it. So what you want to do is you want to phase him, walk away, so that the vortex doesn't eat you in the meantime. Right? In this case, that is not the case. This was a very clean phase right here. The vortex that he initially made is over here. And I can basically just burst him down at this point. Alright, so here he's gonna do his first attack that's a bit what the fuck. So he teleports anyone in the instance into the center on top of him and creates an impossible wall. As you can see, there's a wall here. So what this looks like from the top, I would be standing there, and there's now a wall around me looking much like this. So there's an indicator on the floor, which is these small red don't know what you should call them, small red beams here. That's the indicator that shows where the entrance is. So it will be like that. Now you want to go ahead and go out there as soon as possible, because if you don't, he's gonna slam down on this area, as you're about to see. There, and there he slams down on it and crushes the area. There's another more buffed up version of this, which is gonna be shown more towards the end. However, that is the first ability that he could potentially do. That's punishing. Now the meteors are still going down. It will do that basically throughout the entire fight. Now I'm trying to lure this next vortex that he created. And if the vortex gets close to objects like this, that's standing down here, the vortex will destroy them. As you can see, the vortex will eat you saw that briefly in the bottom there. The vortex will eat the house, and I don't know if it might save you at some point. Anyway, I'm trying to lure this one upwards a little bit so I can rotate around it and phase him for the next time. Now again, you phase by walking under him, and there we go. He's just doing his auto attacks, and the geysers are still gonna be popping up. Over here, honestly, I'm not sure what dots me here. I think it's the geyser. It dots very quickly. I don't know if we can see what kind of dot we have on ourselves here. Yep, it's again I'm actually shocked in this case as well. So from what I heard from my guild leader, the boss will both shock, ignite, and chill, and the beam will leave a corrupting blood. Now this is not info that I can confirm, but it's what I've been told. So go in with a corrupting blood jewel if you can. Apparently the beam does do corrupting blood. Other than that, this debuff is still the same one as that is in the vortexes. Not sure what it is. Like I said, it's probably physical, but I cannot confirm that. There you go. Wicked Ward is, in this case, in this fight, Wicked Ward is my best friend. I'm using a Soul Strike and Wicked Ward to there we go. Let's check that again. I'm using a Wicked Ward and Soul Strike to maximize my recovery between damages taken. So while he's phased and you're trying to lure, he will be shooting these projectiles at you. They can be indicated on the floor, as you can see here. There's going to be small beams of light where they're going to land. They land here first and then move out. You'll see plenty of times where I panic and I just run out because I think that's the best thing to do. I would probably take more damage just by standing still because they will move past you at some point. So that's an ability that's going to be happening a lot of times because this will happen every time he goes invulnerable. And as you can see, it does some serious damage, and I walk along with every single one of them, and it actually almost kills me. Okay, so it's down to the last vortex. This is vortex number 3, which I'm going to try to lure at this point. However, there's a movable one there and there. So one thing that should be worth mentioning is that every vortex that he has previously made will still be mobile. It will never become stationary. So in the end of the fight, you're going to have 3 vortexes that can potentially move. So know where they are. I know that one of them is at the entrance, which is the one that I placed first. The other one I moved up here. And the last one, obviously, is the one that I just moved away from. So these two, if I walk between them, they might potentially crush me. Anyway, here we're going into phase 3. Again, we walk under him to proc his dialogue, which will then give a 5-second roughly dialogue. He will come down and he will be targetable. Alright, so we walk under him to proc the phase again. He now has half HP. He will come down from his chair. doing his normal things. Nothing special going on here other than the geysers just sitting there. And he makes another vortex. Now, there you see I didn't get out in time, and I died to that. I still need to lure it, so there's actually a trick. If you're playing this on softcore, if you die, the vortex will still go towards you, even if your corpse is on the floor. So, what that means is that you could potentially suicide the vortexes and lure them into a space far away just by being dead. This is possible. In hardcore, obviously, that strategy is not that viable, but... Alright, entering this right here, it's kind of monk-ass. We get through it. Fans out again, and... I just end up dying again. The area of effect from the damage over time is extremely big, as you can see here. There's just a lot of damage over time. There's on the floor, and then the range of the vortex is extremely huge as well. I'm in a Monka-esque situation at this point. Obviously, I am healthy on portals, but there's just a lot of damage over time. So any investment into some reduced damage over time taken is definitely worth it if you're looking to avoid some damage. Also, the use of Wicked Ward, the smart use of Wicked Ward. All right, so I want to go over what happened there real quick. So I got jebaited. I didn't look at my minimap. Instead, I thought I could actually Whirling Blade up there. As you can see, I thought there was an open area there, and I would be able to pass through here. As you can see, up here, it looks like I can actually walk there, but if you look on the minimap, there's an invisible wall there. So I just end up whirling straight into the invisible wall. Dying again. So don't get jebaited by that. Down to 3 portals. Very unfortunate way of going about with this, and it's kind of sad because the fight was actually looking pretty okay. I just end up phasing him here, although it's extremely risky because I now have 3 vortexes over here that are all closing in on me. So what I would ideally want to do here, I want to phase him and go over here because these 2 are stationary vortexes. And so if I walk over there while he does his dialogue, these will at least not close in on me. So then I can whirl back and actually damage him for a tiny bit amount of time, which hopefully would be enough. Anyway, let's see what happens. I chose not to, and you can see that I ended up getting eaten by all the vortexes. This attack that he's doing right here, it's a buffed up version of the one that I initially showed here. So what this one would look like is following. Again, here am I. Now, in this case, as you can see, there's going to be 3 ways out. So what he now does is he makes... It's not necessarily exact. The openings are not necessarily exactly where I draw them, but this is what would be the worst case scenario, and you cannot blink out of it. These walls are not passable. So what he's gonna want you to do now, he's gonna want you to walk out there. Out there. Hold on, let me make that in like a different color. Out there. Out there. Out there. Out there. To be able to not get slammed by his attack. However, you don't get too much time doing this. I'll say that already. I ended up just thinking like, screw it, I'm just gonna try to damage him down, and well, see what happens then. There you go. That's a very nice visualization of the arena. You can see that the first opening is over here. The second one is down here. And the third one is actually not far away from the second one. So I would have had to go down over there. And if I didn't do that, he will nuke the entire area. For this reason, you also don't want to lure the boss up on the stairs here. Because this entire area of effect will cover the entire stairs of the top of Oriat there. By that, what I mean is I can't even enter Oriat anymore. Damn. Yeah. Anyway, the stairs up here are narrower than the entire ability that he uses here. So don't bring the boss up here. If you do so, I suggest you skip the boss. Don't bother. You're gonna get yourself killed doing that. So that is it for the abilities that he can, or the 2 abilities that out of the 4 that he can potentially do. Alright, let's move into the next 2 abilities. So this is a little edit because I didn't know if I had any footage of it, but I did end up finding it, and we're just gonna go and look to the end here because this is the first attempt I ever did at the fight, so it's gonna look very chaotic. And in the end here, you'll see. You can see that he makes this circle of dudes, and that beam right there hits multiple times in a row. It will happen again. So it's extremely long range. So never stand still versus it. It's a beam that will hit multiple times in a row very quickly, as you can see. And here he does the channeling. So what you want to do during this is you would want to, these 4 decoys that he makes are actually not decoys. So these are targetable. After he finishes the channeling, he will make a small shrine, as he does right there. And it will have the Uhuatotli, same mechanic as Uhuatotli, where he does the bleed. However, the dangerous part here is not really this. It's the fact that he is still up there shooting abilities at you. There, I just ended up getting wiped. Basically off screen by his beam. So, yeah. Those are the 2 abilities that I was actually missing, but here they are. I did get ignited from this, as you can see. So I've been shocked. I've been ignited. I guess it does it all. Yeah, these abilities kind of speak for themselves. It's much. You just want to not only avoid this damage right here, which is clearly avoidable by using a blink, and instead going backwards. But I feel like the more dangerous thing here is probably the what he is doing rather than the projectiles there. As you can see, yeah. Not sure if there's anything else in here that is worth. I was actually getting my friend in here who and I just got caught there. I don't know. Do I get any like type of? I actually got stacked twice with the debuff there, as you can see. And it does actually add up really quickly. You see that? You can look at my ES there. 17,000 instantly getting bursted down by 2 of these stacks. There's not much mercy shown here, but yeah. Okay, so I'm not gonna drag out this video any longer. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was actually useful for you. This was a brief overview of the different abilities that he can do. I'm sure someone is gonna make a very in-depth guide on every single ability that can be done. I just wanted to get this out there because I feel like there are quite few people that have actually done the fight so far, and being one of the first, I am not the first, but being one of the first players to do this, I feel like it could be a handy thing to give a little bit of insight of what I know so far. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a very nice evening, night, morning, whatever it is. Merry Christmas. We're about to get Christmas coming through and all that stuff. Have a nice time with your family, friends. I wish you all the best. Good luck with the race for the Awakener kill. Good luck with Awakener in general and all the Atlas and all the cool stuff that we got in the patch. Yeah, have a nice day.